Hello, and welcome to Outdoorsy, the podcast where we are redefining the word itself and reclaiming it for everyone. I'm your host, Madeline. Thank you so much for being here for this bonus episode. I just cannot express my gratitude enough for everybody who is a Patreon subscriber and helps support this podcast. Truly, it is only because of you that I am able to continue doing this. So, thank you. I am excited about this topic today. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, but the reason why this is not just a TikTok video or an Instagram reel is that it does have a lot of nuance and context that it can't possibly be covered in just a couple of minutes. So that's why I'm going to try to do that in this episode. But yeah, I want to talk about geotagging. I feel like with the fall season, we've seen the influx of larch marchers looking for fall foliage. We've all seen the viral social media posts of people complaining and lamenting about how many people are coming to the outdoors and ruining everything and pointing to social media as the sole cause of this. So I want to kind of break down some of the common discourse that I have seen online as it pertains to geotagging specifically, kind of unpack each sentiment. So I've got a couple of key things that I've heard from people over the years, and then I'm going to unpack them a little bit more. And that's going to be kind of how this episode breaks down. I didn't want to just present the pro and anti geotagging debates because I think that further reinforces that this is a black and white topic and that there's a yes or no answer and a right or wrong. But right now, the way our society exists today, the way social media functions, the way tourism functions, there isn't a black and white, and I want to talk about that. So, quick little table setting that's really important to put out there before we dive into this. Perspective matters. I am a white, cisgendered woman in a hetero-presenting body and a straight-sized body. There's so many perspectives and unique communities that I am not a part of and that I can't possibly have to provide additional context here. So just know that my opinions here are biased based off of my lived experiences, the identities that I hold. And if you would like to contribute your perspective, especially if you do belong to a marginalized community, please contribute that in the comment section. I would love to continue my education around this particular topic. And I think that the more diversity of thought and the diversity of voices that we can get on this particular topic that is so controversial and so hotly debated, the better. So please don't be afraid to talk about this in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. So let's just dive into it. The first thing that I see people say all the time is this train of thought. By sharing a specific location, geotagging, you're encouraging more people who are uneducated about outdoor stewardship and environmental impact to visit these areas, resulting in overcrowding, environmental degradation, and other harmful effects. So let's start off by just saying, obviously, if a big influencer with a large following says that they went on this particular beautiful hike and they make it look like the best time ever, that's going to result in an increase of people going to that place. That's just a fact. I don't think anybody can ever deny that wouldn't happen. People find inspiration all the time online. I have my own folder on my TikTok that is just travel, and I've tagged all of these or saved all these videos of people traveling all over the world because I want to go to those places. It just happens. You see something online, you want to do it, you go do it. However, there also is the argument to be made that if this is an influencer who also educates around recreating responsibly, around leave no trace, around outdoor stewardship, all these other kinds of really important things you need to know before going out and exploring outdoors, if they're the ones sharing this location, then maybe more educated people are going to be going to the outdoors. And if more educated people are going to the outdoors, that's more people that are going to be taking care of the outdoors. So there can be that argument made that there is a beneficial impact to more people who know about Leave No Trace, who know about outdoor stewardship, going out and exploring, especially if they're interested in the indigenous and cultural significance of these places, just en- encouraging that curiosity and that further education can be really beneficial. However, I will say, as we all know, a majority of really large influencers and a majority of these videos that go viral showing these beautiful locations in the outdoors are oftentimes not accompanied by educational information. Usually it's shared for the sole purpose of clout, for the sole purpose of views. And that is where the harm happens. So we have to take that into account here. We don't want to be sending a bunch of uneducated people out into the wilderness. So that obviously causes harm. It can't be denied. But truly, I do think that you can promote sustainable tourism practice. You can educate about leaving a trace. You can educate about the cultural significance of the areas that you're recreating. It does encourage these more responsible, educated, respectful people to visit these places, and therefore more people taking care of those areas. So good and bad, I would say, when combined with educational content, can be good. Otherwise, usually bad. So then the other piece of discourse that I see a lot is people saying, hey, by not sharing this specific location or by not disclosing where you are at or where this video was, you're gatekeeping, and everybody has a right to the land and to visit nature. And there's a couple things with this that I want to unpack. The first is when someone posts a video of a hike or a photo of a beautiful view that they saw and they don't geotag, that doesn't mean that it's secret. They're putting it online for the public to view. That's no longer secret. It's no longer a hidden gem if you are putting it out online for the public to see. So just by nature of doing that, they're not gatekeeping because they are sharing that. I think that people kind of get caught up in the thought process that they're like owed information from creators, but they're really not. Like, you can do the research on your own. You can take a screenshot of that video and reverse image search it if you want to find that location so badly. That creator doesn't have a necessarily obligation to share the location with you just because they shared the photo. But I will say that a lot of the time I see this particular piece of discourse pop up when it is an outdoor creator that historically has been pretty elitist. A lot of the time people see not disclosing quote unquote hidden gems or places that they've worked so hard to find because they want to have this level, this feeling of superiority of like, I'm better than you because I know where this is and you don't. And that's when it comes back to thinking about the intention behind sharing stuff. If you're sharing somewhere and you're like, can't believe I found this hidden gem in the North Cascades, why are you doing that? Like, why are you posting that? Because to me, that sounds like you are trying to prove that you are better than everybody else. To me, it proves that you are kind of perpetuating this elitist mindset. And then also to me, it's dumb because you're sharing it publicly online anyway, so it's no longer a hidden gem. Someone can find that after searching for 2 seconds on Google. So like, is it really a hidden gem? Are you really gatekeeping it? So on both sides of the debate here, both seem kind of silly. And then the other piece that drives me nuts with this particular argument is that no one has the right to the land except for our indigenous communities. Like, you are not owed anything in terms of like being able to have access to the outdoors because it doesn't belong to us. If you are white, if you're not indigenous, like it belongs to the indigenous communities. So if they have some place that they don't want to reveal, that they want to keep private and secret, we need to listen to them and respect that and follow their lead. So make sure that you are paying attention to that. I will also say if certain areas are blocked off because of environmental impacts or dangerous locations, like those areas need to be protected as well. You shouldn't be recreating in areas that say like, please do not come here. Like, listen to signage, pay attention to signage. You are not entitled to access. Access is a privilege. Just keep that in mind. You're not entitled to have access to anywhere except if you are indigenous. Period. So that argument really bothers me. So in summary here, there is a level of elitism in the outdoorsy community. It's very annoying. If you are sharing stuff with the intention of like proving that you're cooler or better or more knowledgeable than other people, and you're posting it for clout or to like prove something, don't be posting that. Like, why are you doing that? That's only going to cause harm. But if you're posting something and not disclosing the location just because either you forgot, which is totally valid, or you are wanting to kind of protect that area a little bit, that's understandable too. Just know that when you do post anything online, people will find it. When there is a will, there's a way. If you don't geotag, I'm sure there's a good reason, but people can easily just screenshot that, reverse image search it, and find it on their own. So again, this is going to end up being a pretty short bonus episode, but I did want to break down those key arguments and kind of talk about how there's nuances across the board. There's no black and white answer. It's a huge, huge thing that you have to think about is like the intent behind whatever you're posting. So if you are looking for an answer of like, Madeline, am I supposed to geotag or not? I don't want to be elitist. I don't want to be exclusionary, but I also don't want to contribute to further environmental impact or harm to this area. What's a girl to do? I will tell you a couple things. If you are concerned about the environmental impact and the negative consequences of sharing a location online and having more people visit that area, you should not be sharing it at all. Geotagging aside, period. But if you're not quite sure, you still want to share it, that kind of thing, you must be coupling it with educational content. You must be. If you're not, you're being irresponsible. And then I will say, if you are someone who is seeing something geotagged and you're coming across something that is, that is gorgeous and you want to visit, just do your due diligence and do your research before visiting there. Make sure that is somewhere that you are welcome. Make sure that you are prepared to recreate responsibly, to be a good outdoor steward. I think that we all have a responsibility to each other, both in terms of what we're sharing online and also where we're recreating. Just use your best judgment. There's no hard and fast rule, but it all comes back to intention. It all comes back to just being thoughtful, being respectful, and really thinking through the actual consequences of what you're posting online. So I hope this was helpful. Sorry, this was a really short episode. I think that I could probably do a much longer video essay about this particular topic. But if you have additional thoughts, additional context you want to add, please add that in the comments. I would love to hear it. And maybe in the future, I can revisit this topic and dive even more in depth with maybe some concrete research or studies or things like that. But for the meantime, I hope this is helpful. I hope that until next time, you continue to get out there in whatever way it looks and feels good for you. I hope that you just remember that you belong out there.